emergency services are explaining, if we cannot see you, we cannot save you. So the only thing people can do is going up to the roof or to the tree, if the tree is still there, or to the car. But the big concern is what will we find under the water? It is like an earthquake, that if you cannot contact somebody after 32 hours, it gets more and more difficult to keep the hope.
At least 95 people are reported to have died after flash floods devastated southeastern Spain in one of the worst natural disasters in the country's modern history. The widespread flooding was caused by torrential rainfall, with reports that as much as a year's worth of rain fell in just 8 hours in the Valencia region. Footage in Almeria and Valencia shows swollen rivers of floodwater overwhelming streets and sweeping away vehicles. Earlier, the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez sent his condolences to the families of those who've been killed.
Dozens of municipalities that have been flooded, roads are cut off, bridges have been destroyed by the violence of the waters. And firstly, I would like to, on behalf of the government of Spain, and I believe on the whole of Spanish society, convey all of our solidarity and condolences to the families of those who have died in this tragedy in the region of Valencia and Castilla-La Mancha. And also to those who are still looking for lost ones. Spain weeps with all of you.
Well, earlier I spoke to Paloma Garcia-Overjo, who is a Spanish journalist covering the story, and she told me more about the situation on the ground.
There are almost 100 of people who have died. So this flooding has just killed 100 people. One of them is a British man. He died in the hospital. He was rescued at home in Malaga, Andalusia, but then he died. Then we know there are hundreds, if not thousands, of missing people. And at this moment, the local authorities are talking about 1,200 people, drivers, trapped in their vehicles. At least 5,000 cars and camions blocked right now in the roads or in the middle of nowhere. And this is the second night, Carol. Second night in a row with no water, no electricity, and, of course, no medicines for old people and all the rest in a tragedy like this.
It sounds as though the rainfall was particularly intense, a year's worth of rain in a single day. And when you look at the scale of the water, it's really devastating, isn't it?
In Valencia, what my friends and family are telling me is that they have never, ever seen anything like this. Like, this is not the one more fall, one more heavy rain. This is something else. And the big question is 50% could be climate change, but another 50%, if not more, is a human mistake. We still don't know who or where this big failing happened.
So what you're saying is that there was a lack of warnings, a lack of an alert system to tell residents to leave areas?
Because we don't know if the local authorities ignored the warning or the experts didn't make a red warning on time, or what seems more possible, it was a little bit of everything. Because in the north, where it was supposed to be very dangerous, they knew. But in the south, where they say they didn't know, that's why so many people went out or kept walking in the fabrics or in IKEA or big supermarket. They didn't go home because apparently no one told them how terrible it could be. So we're still trying to understand where it got lost in translation. because we have a good system of alert. Spain is, we have a top level of experts, and Valencia is not a poor area, not at all. So we still don't know how is this possible. Still, more than 30 hours later, so many people cannot talk to their parents, to their children, to their friends. Also because there are no cell phones working or the communications are blocked. But
So tell us what is happening to try to find the hundreds of people who are still missing, people who may be trapped in buildings that have been damaged by the floodwaters.
exactly, and the emergency services are explaining if we cannot see you, we cannot save you. So the only thing people can do is going up to the roof or to the tree if the tree is still there, or to the car. But the big concern is what will we find under the water? It is like an earthquake, that if you cannot contact somebody after 32 hours, it gets more and more difficult to keep the hope. But there is something good, if we can say that. So many people are helping. Any kind of material, food, blankets, and all this stuff, but also emotional and psychological support. Of course, radios and televisions are trying to get into the center of the flooding. So we are not forgetting them, but it's very, very difficult to think that in the second night, if they haven't found them, they will, or they will find them alive.
Well, that was Paloma Garcia-Overjo, a Spanish journalist, reporting there on those devastating floods that have swept through Almeria, through Valencia, and many towns and villages in the region. And as she was telling us there, hundreds of people are still